Baugus. And we're at the John C. Campbell Folk School doing the virtual Morningsong. Now, there's not much that I enjoy doing any better than playing music in the dark. Thing is I don't typically do dark from this side. We usually go all the way around to this time. We don't get up at this time and start. So if there's ever any question as to how much I love John C. Campbell Folk School and all the people over here, that should answer it right there. I love you enough to get up in the dark. So there you go. Well, I wanted to do I'm going to put the banjo down for a minute. I want to do just an old ballad. Do an old ballad that comes from, well, I learned it from the singing of a wonderful old man from Watauga County. His name was Lee Monroe Presnell. He was an old man who had been a primitive Baptist all of his life, and he sang primitive Baptist songs and old English and Scots ballads. So he was just a great ballad singer. So I'm going to sing this song that he called Farewell to Old Bedford. Farewell to Old Bedford, I'm bound for to leave you. Likewise those pretty girls I never more shall see. My portion is small, but I truly confess it. What little I have, I call it my own. Well, might I have enjoyed it all in pleasure, if my cruel parents had left me alone. I'll drown away sorrow with a full-flowing bumper. I'll drown away sorrow with a bottle of wine. Well, 8 grams a bottle is, and I don't care for folly. Now never let troubles come into your mind. I'll drown her away in a full-flowing bumper. I'll drown away sorrow in a bottle of wine. Well, 8 grams a bottle is, and I don't care for folly. I play on my fiddle and dance all the time. But now my fingers are frozen and my bow it needs rosin. My sound post is down and my bridge it won't stand. I love that song. It's pretty much a metaphor for a young man's life, all the way to being an old man. He starts out, he's young, and he's having love issues, as many young men do. And then he's having a good time. He's just going out and being a partier and having a wonderful time with his young life. And his parents are trying to hold him back and say, no, look, just calm down. You don't need to be doing all this. Well, he was a rebellious young man, as many young men are. And let's not leave the ladies out. Young women can be rebellious too. But then he takes to drinking. So he takes to drinking even harder than what he was when he was being a young partier. And he's drowning away his sorrows with a full-flowing bumper. A bumper was one of those big wooden mugs, one of those big wooden sort of, you can't call it a stein because it's not stone. It was a wood bumper, and you would bump them together with a toast, So he's drowning away his sorrows with a full-flowing bumper and a bottle of wine. And then finally, he figures out, there's no need to worry about everything. So let's just play on the fiddle and dance all the time. It's fine. All that that trouble I had when I was young, that was just my young angst. Well, but then, by the end, when he's really old, his fingers are frozen, and his bow needs rosin. Soundpost is down, his bridge won't stand. So that's just sort of a metaphor for his crippling body. So it's a good song. I love it. I think it's great. Well, I'm going to play something a little more lively. How about a song that starts out with the death of a train engineer? We can do that. Something light and cheery this morning to get things started. I do this little series occasionally on Facebook called Hanging Out on the Porch. And I sit there with my little cup of coffee. Now, I can't carry my espresso machine with me, so I've got a bigger cup of coffee. So for any of you who watch my little series who comment on the small size of my coffee, this is for you. Actually, this is for me, but there you go. I can't tell you, well, I can tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, how much I wish that you all were sitting right here in front of me. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing right now, playing music for you through the wonder of the internet. But I really wish that you guys were sitting right here with me. I'd love to see your smiling faces and hear your laughter and give you the chance to laugh out loud. I'd love to hear some laughter. So. This is an old tune that I learned when I was a young man. From a gentleman named Tommy Gerald. And he had a cousin whose name was Fred Cochran. Now I sort of combine versions here, as I can play like neither one of them, but I sure revere what they did. It's called Reuben's Train. Fred Cochran called it Train 45. So. I'd loan you my shoes for a bottle of booze. I'll show you what a buddy can do. My little woman tells me so, I'll never railroad no more. I'll sidetrack my train and I'll go home. There's old me and it's old Lordy mine. Sidetrack my train and I'll go home. Whew, that was fun. That was fun. Well, let's see. Let's do another one here. How about, oh, I know what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do. The coffee is good. Okay? I'm trying to come up with a coffee haiku. How about that? Let's,
We're gonna get closer to you.
you're going to get closer to me.
People just want to feel like they're really, really in the room.
Well, there you go. I like being closer to people. I'm going to do you a tune that comes from a wonderful banjo player from Carroll County, Virginia, from up near Hillsville, Virginia. His name was Sidney Myers. He and his brother, Sidney and Fulton Myers, were a fiddle and banjo duet that recorded and made a lot of great music. In the last century, because we're in the 21st now. They were in the 20th century, but they were collected and recorded from the 60s, 70s, and they did this song, or they did this tune. It's a banjo tune called "Twin Sisters," and it's kind of like you've got what they call the fine part, which is the high part. Then you got the coarse part, which is the low part. Well, the fine part is one sister telling her story, and the low part is the other sister telling her story, and their argument. So you can hear the argument between the two. Twin sisters. chorus one must have been the oldest one because she got the last word. Now I tuned the banjo, not because it's always out of tune, as many people say, but it is, it's true. But because old-time musicians especially in the Blue Ridge Mountains, not all over the Appalachians, but in lots of the southern Appalachians and really in the Blue Ridge, North Carolina and Virginia, we retune to open tunings for almost everything. Or we retune to special tunings to be able to do songs. And that's what I'm doing now. I was in a special tuning, and now I'm in another special tuning. You know, in the time we're living in right now, it seems like every day the news is worse, and people are, there's a lot of people that are just mean. And that meanness and discord and troubles, and people are having a hard time earning any money right now. It's just it's a time that we've never lived through before. But the one thing we have is hope. We have hope that every day is going to be a little better, not worse. And you got to keep that in mind every day. It helps you cope with everything. If you just know in your heart that there's hope, we can carry on and be able to change things to suit us better. Now, some of you might want things one way and some of you might want things the other way, but that's okay. We've always been able to come together in the middle. That's part of what it is to be human. Making compromises. Everybody gets a little bit of what they want and everybody's happy in the end. But you've got to maintain that hope. You've got to maintain that hope for goodness and prosperity. Well, I'm going to do you a song now that is about that hope. It's called The Last Pale Light in the West. Now, this is a modern song. This is not an old-time song. Well, it wasn't, but it is now. But it was written by a songwriter from Memphis, Tennessee, whose name was Ben Nichols. And I know some of you are fans of Ben and his band Lucero. He's a good songwriter. And he wrote this song called Last Pale Light in the West. Well, the fella in this song, his whole life has crumbled around him. But does he give up? No, he doesn't give up. He keeps carrying on because he looks out yonder and he sees that sun in the west. And every day, it's fading down below the horizon. But he sees that light and he knows there's hope. That light represents hope. And he follows that light. And he continues to carry on and tries to make things better, but he never gives up. So don't ever give up. me due northwest. My soul is bound. I will go on ahead free. There's a light yet to be found. It's that last pale light in the west. It's that last pale light in the west. It's the last pale light in the west. It's that last pale light in the west. Although I've asked no redemption in this cold, barren place, still I see the faint reflection, so by it I'll guide my way to the last pale light in the west, to the last pale light in the west. It's the last pale light in the west. It's the last pale light in the west. Well, I surely hope that you guys enjoyed that. Because I sure enjoyed it. I love playing music for people who enjoy music. You know, I can do this without you, but it's a whole lot more fun with you. As my old friend Ira Bernstein always said in our shows. How about, let's play another banjo tune. I happen to have a banjo. It'd probably be a good thing to play a banjo tune. You ready? Let me have one more sip of coffee. This is a big cup of coffee, y'all. Well, I didn't only just bring the cup. See, I came prepared. I told you I don't see dark from this side very often. The sunrise is a stranger to me, shall we say. So, we'll do another tune that comes, my version of it is inspired by a great banjo player and fiddle player from Grayson County, Virginia, which is right next to Carroll County. But it's just right across the North Carolina state line from Surry County. And Surry County is where I spent a whole lot of my youth learning to play old-time music. Well, you couldn't help but go to Galax up in Grayson County and play music with those people, and then there was all those folks in Carroll County, and then my family's all from Allegheny County, so you had to play music with them people too, and then, well, my granny was from Wilkes County, and there's a big Wilkes County music tradition, so we all just got together and just had a big old pile up and played music. So, but this one comes from Wade Ward, from Grayson County, Virginia, and it's a common fiddle tune and song throughout the Blue Ridge and throughout the Southern Appalachians. It's called Shady Grove, but he didn't sing it. He played it as a fiddle tune, as a lot of those folks do, and it the timing of it kind of wraps back around on itself. So it would be hard to sing it because it doesn't work like a song. So here's Shady Grove. So, I'm going to, if y'all will excuse me just for 1 second, I'm going to talk to the folks here in the room. How long can I go?
You can go a few minutes longer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And
Sure.
thanks to Darcy Holdorf and Tipper Presley for coming over here and helping this morning, getting me all set up. Lord Bay, you should see the tech that we've got in this room. It is unbelievable. It's just, this is awesome. So, let me do one more song for you. I'm going to switch banjos because I like the other one too. I make these banjos that I play. I was fortunate to have a dad who taught me how to do things. And my dad passed away back in 1987. So now when I need to consult Dad, I usually go to YouTube. You see, YouTube is where you go to learn all the things that your dad never taught you. But it's a resource that we never had. It's pretty great. You can learn how to rebuild the carburetor on your 3.5 horsepower lawnmower, or on your 1969 Camaro. You know, you can learn how to repolarize those NiCad batteries in your appliances, in your tools. You can learn how to knit and crochet. You can even learn how to play the banjo on YouTube. Over in Ashe County, North Carolina, see, I'm from over in that part of North Carolina, sort of the beginning of the western side of North Carolina. It's I'm at the foothills of the Blue Ridge. I live over in Forsyth County, but I can see the foothills from my house. Not Russia, but the foothills of North Carolina. Now, if you go to those foothills and then you go just a little bit beyond, you're definitely in the Blue Ridge Plateau. Now, I never learned too much music sort of west of Watauga County. Most of it's from that little northern section of the North Carolina Blue Ridge. And Ashe County is one of those counties up in that region. And there was a beautiful lady who was from there that was a great songwriter. Now, what I do is old-time traditional music, and a lot of people think that old-time music has to be old, that you can't make new old-time music. Well, you know, all those people who were singing those songs and playing all those tunes, somebody made them up. They didn't just pop into the ether one day and say, "Here, I'm an old-time tune, play me." Somebody made them up. They had an idea, and they created this music. Well, old-time is not an idea, it's a style. Well, it's a style and an idea, I suppose. But it's not set in stone. There's no rule that says it has to be old time. Now, Old Belle Reed grew up in Ashe County, and she wrote songs. She was an old-time musician who played the banjo, and she played all the old-time tunes and played in old-time bands when she was a young woman. But she discovered she had a talent for writing down her thoughts and making songs. She was a poet. Well, she would write songs that had to do with things in her community, things throughout those mountains, things that occurred, and sometimes she would imagine stories, you know. But she wrote this song. It's that age-old story of boy meets girl, falls in love with the girl falls in love with the boy. The boy moves away to earn his fortune. And then he decides after he's earned his fortune, he's going to come back and marry this young woman, only to discover that when he returns, she's died. Yeah, sad little song, and I do hope y'all enjoy it. It's called Undone in Sorrow. Thank y'all for joining us this morning. This has been a pleasure to be here. I've had a good time. I like to cut up and carry on. And I'm going to teach a banjo class here after a while. We've had a great class this week. I have 3 wonderful students who are all sitting about 20 feet away from me. And we all sit in our masks and have a good time learning to play the banjo. It's a fun time. It really is. If you get a chance to come to the John C. Campbell Folk School to take a class, I suggest you really should. And they don't threaten me with a stick if I don't say stuff like that. This is actually true. You should come. Thank y'all, and I hope you have a great day. Lay aside